Hello everybody, this is the Kramer, and today we will be playing Hex, the Shards of Fate, using my Nuts and Bolts deck, which is a Rock League Ruby and Sapphire deck focused on dwarves and robots. As you can see, Rock League deck is a deck that is composed of almost entirely common cards with a 4 of for uncommons. So you can only have 4 of uncommons. This makes the decks really cheap, usually very inexpensive for new players to start, and it's a perfect way to get into the game. Without further ado, I'm going to do my deck tech for this. For 1 drops, we have Charge Bot. For 1 mana of any color, you can put a 1/1 into play, and when he enters the battlefield, gain a charge. This guy is integral to our deck because we love getting tons of charges due to our champion, Bertram Cragraven, for 3 charges, and as long as you have blue threshold, you can make a 1/1 worker bot, which works perfectly with most of our deck. Our second 1 drop is Gearsmith for 1 mana of Sapphire variety. You have a 1/1 dwarf who enters when he enters play. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 artifact from among them into your hand, and it costs 0. Or it costs -1, forgive me. Put the remaining cards into your deck. So I assume shuffle them into your deck. Gearsmith is a great way to get out and a great combo, if you can get it, is turn 1 Gearsmith into a charge bot for free, giving you 2 bodies onto the battlefield, which is perfect for an aggro. But the downside of him is I've had quite a few whiffs with Gearsmith, which have always made me sad. The next 1 drop is Construction Plans Hornet Bot. For 1 mana of any color, you can get a Construct Plans, and you can exhaust 1 or more dwarves or robots and add a construction counter to it. Then, if there are 2 or more, turn it into a Hornet Bot, which is a 2/1 for flying. A 2/1 with flying. It's a great little guy for just getting over your opponent's non-flying troops, and it has the great synergy of working with any of our bots, especially the ones that actually just sit around being defensive, like our worker bots. Our last 1 drop is Construct Foreman. 1 mana for a 1/1. It requires a rupee charge. And it's when it enters play, transform target artifact into a warbot. Warbot is a 3/3, so essentially you plop down either a charge bot or one of your construction plans turn 1, drop this guy down, and then it turns into a 3/3 with pseudo haste. Especially if you plop down a charge bot turn 1 into a turn 2 construct foreman, you can really do some major damage and put out a threat very, very fast. This guy is a bomb. On to our 2 drops. Our 2 drops are Construct Plans Warhulk. 2 mana of any color for the Construct Plans. Exhaust 1 or more dwarves and or robots you control, and add a construct counter for each troop exhausted this way. If there are 5 or more, remove them all and turn it into a Warhulk. Warhulks are 5/5 with Crush. It's really easy to get a Warhulk out if you have a bunch of dwarves and robots, which is what we've got. We've got them in spades. It also helps that we have lots of charges, which get out worker bots, which then fuel the Warhulk construction effort. Our only uncommon, of course, is Technical Genius. It's 2 mana, 1 in a Sapphire, for a 1/2 dwarf, and all artifacts in all zones have cost -1. So that means all of your great robots and artifacts that you care about have -1 to their cost, which, much like its little buddy the Gearsmith, makes your charge bots and Hornet bot plans free. 2 of them make your Warhulk free, and it also works really well with Terrabot, which we'll talk about later. Our 2 spells for the deck that aren't robot or artifacts or Dwarves are Crackling Bolt and Crackling Wit. Crackling Bolt is 2 mana, one of which has to be a ruby for a basic action, which means you can only play it during your turn. Deals 3 damage to target champion or troop, and gain a charge. This is some great early game harassment of your opponent's creatures, as well as a way to top off your, or put the final 3 damage into your opponent's head for the win. The charge is perfect too, because you can easily use it to get more worker bots out into the field with Bertram, as well as being able to, which allows you, of course, to pump out more robots with various other abilities. Crackling Wit, similarly to Crackling Bolt, is 2 mana, 1 in a Sapphire. You draw a card and gain a charge. This lets you cycle it for hopefully something that you need, as well as letting you gain a charge for your worker bots. And the upside as well is it's a quick action, which means you can use it at the end of your opponent's turn. You can do a lot of different tricks off of it. Now we don't have anything for past 2. We have 2 5s, 4 7, or 5 7s. So our 2 5 drops are Warbot Bunker. When it enters play, create a Warbot and put it into play, which of course is a 3/3. But robots you control have +0/+1, so it's technically bringing a 3/4 onto the battlefield, and makes all your other bots get +1 toughness. It's a really just all-around nice little defensive boost if you're having to need it, and having a 3/4 out is always good. Our Terrabot is the bomb of this deck. It's a 7 mana for a 3/5 robot dinosaur with flight, and it costs -1 in all zones for each dwarf and or robot you control. So the more robots we pump out, the more dwarfs we have, the less this costs to get out. And it works with Technical Genius, so it'll cost 2 less for him if you have him out. So let's say you have 2 Technical Geniuses out. This guy will be a 3-drop for a 3/5, which is pretty darn good. But 3/5 is best when it's costing -1 or 0 or less, which is what Terrabot tends to have. And at that point, your opponent really is in trouble, because a 3/5 in the air is hard to deal with. The last bot is 7, costing 7, is Mecha T-Hex. It's a 6/5 with Crush, which is trample for those who play NTG. It's just there because it's a good, like, if you're getting mana flooded and you draw this, it's a great way to end the game. He'll be a 6/6 if you have a Warbot Bunker. He'll have most of your opponent's sets taken care of anyway, but it's too expensive in terms of mana cost wise to have more than one. This deck is actually pretty decent, even going up against decks that aren't Rock League. It's pretty fast. It can get out, like I've seen two construct formats string a charge bot and a worker bot into 2 3/3s and essentially end the game that way. I have great confidence that I will win a crap ton of games with this deck, and I can't wait to show you them. Stay tuned.